at the same time every single day. It just takes a clear plan. And today I'm going to walk you through exactly what that looks like. Hi, my name is Elise Moore, and for the last 10 years, I've been helping families in Plainfield, Oswego, and the surrounding Chicagoland suburbs make great decisions about real estate. First off, you are not alone in this. This is one of the biggest questions that I get from people when they are trying to do their first simultaneous sell and purchase. You know that you've built a lot of equity and that you're ready for your next home, but you don't necessarily know how to connect all of the dots throughout that transition. Fortunately, there are several different ways that we can make this work. Option number one is to sell first, and this is probably the most conservative of the options. You sell your home first, and then you know exactly how much you've gotten for it. You know exactly what your final proceeds are, so you have infinite clarity in how to move forward. Now, the obvious pros to this are the clarity around the finances, the fact that there's no risk of carrying two mortgages at once, and just the overall reduced financial stress of the situation. Now, the cons are you may end up having to hunt for a house under a time crunch, which can be stressful, or you may have to move into temporary housing or potentially move twice. For some people though, that peace of mind is absolutely worth it, and that's awesome. But if that's not you, the other option would be to buy first, which can work well if you qualify on paper to carry both homes. Now, the nice thing about this is that you can move at your own pace. You're not under any kind of a time crunch. And generally speaking, you're probably going to feel a little bit less pressure throughout the process. Now, on the flip side, not everyone qualifies to do this. And if you do, you may end up paying two mortgage payments for a short period of time. Now, if you are able to take on this option, it's going to depend a lot on your financial qualifications, your income, your debts, your assets, and then also how comfortable you are with that potential risk. Now, option three is to buy and sell at the same time, which is overwhelmingly the most common way that it's done. So here's typically how this works. We are going to get everything done on the front end. So your home will be prepped, it'll be staged, it'll be photographed, all of the marketing efforts will be done, it's going to be drafted in the system. Basically, all we have to do is flip a switch and it is live out there for everybody to see. At the same time, you are already pre-approved. You've got your loan ideally already through underwriting. We've got all of your finances verified, and we have narrowed it down to specifically what you want. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to put your home on the market, and when we secure the buyer, we are going to work to negotiate a nice long closing timeline. Now, here in Chicagoland, we typically see closings in the 4 to 6, maybe as long as 8-week range. We're going to try to get that closing timeline to be more in the 8 to 12-week range. And what we do is we let the other side know, hey, we are more than willing to adjust this timeline backwards once we secure our next home. We just want a little bit of time to get that done. Now, once we secure your next home, what we do is we marry the closing dates. So you're going to close on the sale of your current home in the morning and the purchase of your new home in the afternoon. So from a logistical standpoint, what that looks like is, typically speaking, you are going to move out of your current home the day before closing, and you'll move into your new home the day after closing. It doesn't have to be done like that, but if you're going to work with a professional moving company, that's typically the way that it ends up being the most cost efficient. And the reason is because you're not paying a moving crew to hang out while you're sitting in two closings, and you're also not going into those after hours and thus paying overtime rates. When it comes to actually getting the money from the closing on the sale of your current home into the closing on the purchase of your next home, basically that's all going to be done behind the scenes. So it'll be set up in advance so that your proceeds from your sale will automatically be wired to the closing company for the purchase of your new sale. And if you have more coming to you from your sale than you actually need to purchase, you'll walk away from your purchase with a check. Now, every situation is a little bit differently, but I'll work with every party involved to make sure that we get this done and that everybody understands what's going on and has a way to work through this. Now, option 4 is to negotiate a little bit of extra time in your current home after closing. And this is something that a lot of sellers don't even realize exists. So it's called a post-closing possession. And what that basically means is that you are going to close on your home and you're going to stay there for a set period of time. It could be 2 days, it could be 2 months. It really just depends on the buyer's situation and what they have available to them. So what this does is it gives you a little bit of extra time to manage that move. Now, not to it, not every buyer will have the option for this. So you do need to understand that you may be limiting your buyer pool, but just know that it is an option. Now let's talk about the equity that you have in your home. And this is where a lot of homeowners are pleasantly surprised, and one of the biggest benefits of home ownership as far as I'm concerned. If you've owned your home for several years, you've probably built up a good amount of equity in it. And that equity becomes your down payment, your closing costs, and possibly even money for updates and furnishings on your new home. It's why one of the first things that I do with sellers is we give them an estimate on what they're going to walk away with when the entire process is said and done. So what happens if you find your dream home before your current home sells? And this is where strategy really comes into play. Because depending on your situation, we may be able to use a home to sell contingency, home equity line of credit, or a bridge loan. You may have other assets available to you that we can borrow against. Or maybe we just need to adjust the timing a little bit, and the sellers of your dream home are open to that. That's why the solution to that depends on your goals, your comfort level with various risks, and your financial situation. And that's why these conversations are so individualized. Now, the biggest mistake that I see homeowners make is waiting until they found their perfect home to actually come up with a plan. So instead, start with these questions proactively. First, what is my current home worth in today's market? Second, how much am I going to walk away with after I sell that home? Third, what kind of monthly mortgage payments am I comfortable with? And fourth, what would my buying power look like in today's market? Because once you know the answers to those questions, everything else becomes a lot easier. My advice, if you're thinking about moving anytime within the next year, start having the conversations now. You don't have to be ready to buy. You don't have to be ready to list. But sometimes the biggest relief just comes from having some clarity through the process. Buying and selling at the same time can feel overwhelming, but it's so much more straightforward than a lot of people realize. With the right strategy, the right timing, and the right team, we do this every single day. If you've been wondering about whether this is possible or what it might look like for your situation, our information is below. Reach out. We are more than happy to help. And if this has been helpful, please like and subscribe for all things Chicagoland real estate.